Today is Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. The time is 6:30 p.m. Actually, we're about 5 minutes past that, so 6:35 p.m. Good one of y'all. Make sure we have a quorum.
Mr. Coates?
Here.
Ms. Sandifer is absent. Mr. Shavers?
Here.
Mr. Taylor?
Here. All right. Looks like we have a quorum. Well, Mr. Billy, would you lead us in the invocation?
Very good. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for
I want to thank everyone who came tonight. Just remember, we're going to go through these items on the agenda, and please silence your cell phone so we don't have any interruptions. Keep your comments to approximately 3 minutes, but this is not a council meeting, it's an open discussion, so we kind of sometimes can go a little longer than that. If you need to speak, just raise your hand, you'll be called on, come on up, give your name and your address, and we'll try to get through this pretty quickly. All right, under new business, we have discussion of ordinance about the board member removals of boards that were created by the Livingston Parish Council. This is Mr. Shavers. I'll let Mr. Shavers take it.
So I've had a couple of discussions with some people about it. I got with the clerks and to identify what boards were created by the council. Do y'all happen to have those offhand? Just to state on public record. You emailed them or Sandy did? I think I got it right here. So boards with no state laws and no term limits. It's the Citizen Drainage Committee, Quality Assurance Panel, Personnel Board, Master Plan Review Committee, Livingston Parish Library Board, Livingston Parish Airport District, Ward 2 Water, and the Waterway Commission appointments. Does that sound about right? Yeah, okay. So what this ordinance is going to allow the council to do is to remove board appointments that are on these committees for inefficiency and malfeasance. And I'm going to give you the definition of inefficiency and malfeasance for the record. Inefficiency is the state of not achieving maximum productivity, failure to make the best use of time or resources. That is the definition of inefficiency. And malfeasance, the definition is wrongdoing. So I'd like to make a motion to push this one to the council and let it go to an introduction and public hearing.
All right, so
not obviously this one, but we have time to put it on the next one. The 26th one? Okay.
Yes. All right, so you have a motion to forward this ordinance to the council meeting?
Correct.
And that not the one that we have this week, but the one next week?
The 26th.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I have the
motion. We have
the
motion. Do we have a second?
My question is, what is this ordinance exactly? What is it? What are we trying to achieve with this ordinance?
So like these boards that I just named off, we can remove and for this definition, it covers us to where we can pull them for inefficiency and malfeasance. If somebody does wrongdoing, if someone is not fulfilling their position to the best of their ability productivity-wise, we can pull them. We don't have to have any reason. This ordinance just allows us to be able to do that.
Yes.
Well, so with the just specifically the library, I'm just using that example because state law just changed with that one. But before, from my understanding, we were not able to. The state law went into effect. So this just got on this list?
Once they did that law, because before you could not legally, well, now that state law has turned, then before they turn on it.
So with state law and these specific ones, if they're allowed, you'll transfer them over to this list. I was not aware of that. So this ordinance that I'm creating, we can't obviously not overturn, what's the word I'm looking for, overrule state law. So, okay, well then we don't need to do that then. And it wasn't, let me just clarify, it was not just for the library board, guys. That was not the intent behind it of the council. Okay, so if state law changes, more boards get that same kind of.
We can keep this and then we can.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that was my understanding, is that the boards that you were speaking about already serve at the pleasure of the council, that we can remove them.
I was not aware of that.
Okay.
I knew this list, but I did not know the dynamics of it, so I understand now.
Okay.
So you move for no vote?
No vote.
Okay. All right. All right, under old business, we have the first item, item A, discussion of a one-year moratorium prohibiting the division or re-subdivision of any lot, tract, or parcel of land in Council District 2. Mr. Shavers again.
So this is just, we made some revisions. We talked at the last ordinance committee meeting. I was open to some suggestions to kind of get some feedback from the public. I've talked to a couple of people in my area. So this is not a one-year moratorium, it's a 6-month moratorium. And so rather than making it to where there's no subdividing, you can do 5 lots or less, and in the event of a hardship. And I believe it was you that came up last time and wanted to know was that you that said wanted to know what the hardship definition? Okay, I can't remember if you had mentioned the hardship, like identifying what exactly is the hardship, but I think Caroline's got it if she wants to state it for the record. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Got to turn this on. Okay. A medical hardship waiver shall be granted to someone who is experiencing severe injury or illness with prolonged recovery and/or ongoing close medical monitoring, severe complications of a chronic medical condition, and/or a diagnosis of a life-threatening condition.
Yes. And the purpose behind this, again, is subdividing is happening in District 2 where lots are being thrown up where I feel zoning wouldn't allow it. Where if I feel zoning was in place, the subdividing of the property and how they're subdividing it, zoning wouldn't marry with what is happening. That's the only intent for it. And I'm actively working on my zoning map and adopting it. I'm not just sitting down with on my hands. I'm working on my zoning map with WSP, with Jerome Fournier, and we're moving forward. So I don't expect it to be 6 months. It may be less. But we're working on my zoning map and getting that adopted and working, and I have to go through the attorneys with the zoning. I have to go through the planner. I have to go through the proper procedures to get that adopted, but I am moving forward with that map. So that's it in a nutshell. So I make a motion to send this to the council with 6 months amendment and 5 lots or less and hardship.
Mr. Glasscock, do you have any, would you like to speak on that?
Man, 5 lots you left. You could leave it 3 years, it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah.
You had where people couldn't cut out a half acre to find.
I understand. And that's why I made that change. Yeah. And I'm still, look, I just want to say this for the record. I'm still open to any suggestions, you know. What's
I'll make a second.
Okay.
I'll make a second to send it to
All
the
right.
council.
No comments? All right. Call for the vote.
Mr. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Shavers?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
All right, looks like that passed unanimously. So we will move on to Section B, discussion of ordinance amending Section 18-28, declaration of parish waterway closures by Dean Coates. So I will take it from here. What we're looking to do here is set some criteria for when we close the waterways. Currently, we have none. It's kind of a subjective process. We want to make it more of an objective process to where we have things in place so that when we start having flooding or when we start having wind bringing water into our waterways, we can know when we're going to shut them down and when we're going to open them back up. So looking on the NOAA website and flood data, it looks like our flood numbers are 3 foot at the French settlement gauge and 4 foot at the Tickfall gauge in Killian. So that's what I am proposing that we put the numbers at. And we're doing this for several reasons. Number one, people want to know and need to know when to expect the water closures. That's number one. Number two, whenever we have flood situations, we have a lot of debris that comes down the waters. Okay, it's coming from camps, it's coming from houses, it's coming from all over the place. So there's a lot of debris that is under the water line, and these things can create hazards. We don't want anyone to get hurt on the water, so we don't want to open the waters too prematurely. It could cause problems with docks, seawalls, pushing water into homes. We don't want any of those things to occur. So that's why we're trying to set it at a lower rate. And like I say, most importantly, it's a safety issue. God forbid someone would bring their kids out there because the water seems to be open and they fall off their tube and there's a tree floating underneath the water line and a kid get caught up in the branches or something disastrous could happen. We want people to come to enjoy our waterways. We just want everybody to be safe and not destroy property while we're trying to do it. So we have tons of restaurants. We have tons of entertainment out on our waterways. Everyone comes, not just people from our parish, so we want everyone to come out and enjoy them. We just want to make it safe for everyone and know what to expect. So my motion is just, one of y'all want to read the change to this?
They want to put in Section B under Chapter 5, Section 18-28. B, criteria for determining the closure of all waterways in Livingston Parish. 1, when the river gauge at Tickfall reaches 4 feet or the river gauge at French Settlement reaches 3 feet, the waterways will automatically close to all recreational traffic, and river travel for recreational purposes will be halted until the river gauge falls below 4 feet at Tickfall or 3 feet at French Settlement. 2, when the rivers have reached a point where they are closed, the parish will issue a news release to the public advising them as such and will close all public boat landings in the parish.
Thank you. So the motion is to send this to the council for introduction. Do we have a second? I'll second it. Okay. Do we have any public comment?
You can't make a motion. I'll make a motion to send this to the council.
Okay, and seconded by Ryan.
Mr. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Shavers?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
All right. Unanimously passed. That'll be sent to the council. All right. Next order of business is going to be discussing ordinance amending Section 50-3 speedboats, idle zones, Tickfall River, 300 feet on either side of the prop stop or current name of the establishment. That's mine as well. So what this is about is the prop stop. Well, I've had plenty of complaints from constituents down in the Tickfall River area, and they've all expressed to me that the establishment has been closed for 2 years. There's no intention of reopening it. I've called the current owners of the establishment. They've told me the same thing. They intend to sell it or something of that nature. I'm not trying to get too far into their business, but the fact is it's closed right now, and there's no need for a wake zone at that location. So what I'd like to do is push this to the council for introduction, and we need a motion on that.
Any public discussion? None?
Well, we need to get a motion in a
I'll
second
make it.
first.
I mean, the only way that we can have is a second, and we brought this up before a couple of meetings, and there was other discussion that we had people here that were saying that that was an area where people that whenever Marpole is too choppy or whatever else is going on in Marpole, that's where they go and hang out in that area. Is it? No, I don't have a boat, so I don't know anything about where the prop stop is, but is it just because they don't want to stop at a wake zone or go through a wake zone? Or, I mean, if it's already there, people hang out there when they can't get in Marpole, what is it actually hurting?
Okay. State law reads as follows. In addition to speed limits established by governing authority of a parish or municipality under the provisions of this section, there hereby established certain no-wake zones which each vessel shall operate at a bare steering speed, the slowest speed the vessel can travel, while allowing the operator to maintain directional control of the vessel to produce a minimum water surface turbulence. The no-wake zones are established on all waterways within 300 feet of any of these facilities. There are only two on there. This is state law. One is a boat launch. That's not a boat launch. The second is a docking facility adjacent to a boat launch open to the public. That's not that either. So they have no business to have that there because currently they are not a boat launch. Now they do have a dock, but I have pictures of that dock saying that no one is allowed on these premises. It's private property. If you're trespassing on it, they say if someone sees you, call the sheriff's office and have them arrested. So there is no legal means for having a wake zone at that location.
Okay. But as my understanding is that if we, you can always add to, but you can't take away, right? So they're saying that that's what it is. That the state law, if it was for the state law, then the state could go out there and take it up if they wanted to, since it's not open, right?
I'm sorry, say it again.
If it's state law and the state wanted to go out there and take the no wake zone out of it, they could go do that if they wanted to, right?
No, it's our parish ordinance. Right.
What's our criteria?
It's on last page on your packet.
Ours is a bridge crossing a waterway, a public boat launch facility, a public boat docking facility, public docking facility with boat refueling capabilities, intersections of major waterways, any area with a history of boating related accidents, or any area that by nature necessitates establishment for the purpose of providing a safe passage for boaters. Our ordinance says, by authority of the parish council, an area must include one or more of the following. So it needs to have one of those. So, I mean, if there's been a boat accident,
There haven't been through there that I'm aware
I don't
of.
know. I'm just.
And I'm on the water. I've been on the water forever.
It's just a question. Like I said, we had constituents sitting in the audience that said that that's where people hang out. Whenever they can get in, I guess they can go hang out at a different wake zone. So
Yeah.
let's move it to the council.
Okay. So y'all want to take the vote?
Mr. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Shavers?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
All right. All right, we need a motion to adjourn. That's it.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
All right. Anyone opposed to adjourning? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're done.